This is Justin from Breakout Capital Ventures. It is Saturday, the 27th of September, 2025. Today, I'm going to start with Pulsar, PLSR. And this one here, I'm looking at the UK chart, and pretty much, there's not a lot of traded data. It's sort of listed over on the UK back in October 24. So it is in a blue box reversal zone. That's a really good sign. I like that. So what we've got a blue box reversal zone there at 23p down to 20.6. We're just above that at 23.6. It closed on Friday. And I've got a target there of 33.6 up to 36.8. Now, that's not brilliant. So, that's not going to appeal to a lot of investors. But this one is dual listed. It's Canadian listed as well. You have to bear with me on this one. So likes of MKA, THX, those rises followed the TSX listed charts. So this one here, I'm going to flip over to that one. And we're going to see what's happening there. There we go. And this one, wow, this one's a much better chart. And now look at that. Now, from my perspective here, we've had one wave. We've had a wave appear, sort of nearly 8-9 bagged back in 2024, early 24. Since then, it's been sort of basing at this blue box reversal zone again. Another fantastic sign. So all the signs are there to say, this is looking great for an entry. So where do I think that's heading? Well, that there is. It's only had one wave. So we've had one, we've had two. We haven't had a third wave. And, for me, we always work in three waves. This is a cracking setup. So where do I think that's going? Well, if we can break and hold up of that prior high, I think we're going into this red box zone up here at 1.92 up to 2.33 and possibly 2.85. So, and that's obviously Canadian dollars. You need to convert that over to the UK. But, there's an awful lot of bags in that. So 3-4 bags, maybe a bit more, maybe 5-6, who knows? But, so what is it? Well, it's a helium plate. And I'm just going to fire that up on my screen. So they've got drilling for 10 wells. It's step out drilling. So this isn't wildcat stuff. This is, it's pretty safe in terms of, risk. Drilling started September. Results expected throughout the remainder of 2025 and into Q1 2026. So what have they got? Well, it's a helium plate. Their helium rates have been, and I'm just going to go from what I've seen on their website, they've had 14.5% helium. If you consider that like a gold explorer, that's like them getting 14.5% grade on their hit. It's massive. It's absolutely massive. That's a really good sign. They've drilled 2 wells that are ready for production. Obviously, it's not in production at the moment. They're stepping out to find the resource. The resource is expected sort of mid-2026, as long as everything goes well, of course. So they've had flow rates of 1.3 MCF. That's pretty impressive. And I've got there 40% of the shares are held tightly. I think one of the directors owns around 10 or 11%. You have to look on the website. So there's only 60% free float. It's not got great liquidity at the moment, which I'm pretty surprised about because there's going to be huge amounts of news over the next few months throughout Q4 for sure, into Q1 for sure, and into Q2 2026. We've got loads more news. So that's really good. And as for getting the project into production, they've got a US bank who I believe is a shareholder as well. I didn't look at that actually, but they've got a US bank who's offered them debt funding. This is going to be dilutive to shareholders of about 12 to 13 million, which is enough to get them into production. What's not to like about it? It's just a share that's under everybody's radar. And for me, I think that, the chart setup there is brilliant. And I think at some stage over, once the news flow starts rolling, that's another thing that they've just extended their license area. They've bought another license area. So, obviously these guys are confident. But, I think that one there is looking really good. One, to do some research and have a look to see what's going on there. Right, so get back to it. Where are we going next? EPP, and what a week that one's had. Goodness me. We called that absolutely bang on. I said around here, I said, about 2.2 pence. I thought that was going to be around the bottom. I did have that blue box reversal zone of 1.92, which I think it did tag it actually, didn't it? So absolutely spot on. And then it's had cracking news out on Friday. So, I think that's game on for this week. And, where do I think that's headed? Well, we need to break and hold above this prior high, about 11.5. but that could bring us up to 12.45 up to 15.3 and possibly even 18.95 pence. But yeah, I think that, probably 12 and a half up to 15.3p. I think that's probably game on from here. So, want to pop on your watch list and have a look. But I think that's going to be on fire next week. There you go. That's EPP. Iron is my next one, and another one that is under everybody's radar. This one here, it's had some good news. I think it's something to do with iron ore. They're sort of turning it into production. It's had a cracking Friday. Actually, I bought in last week, early part of last week, actually. So before that spike up. But I've got this blue box reversal zone down here at 0.041 down to 0.035. And I had a red box, which I just put it red so it's more visible at 0.365. That's where I got sort of bought in. And I think that, this one here, I think that, with mining, everything, well, nothing ever works out as timing wise as one would hope. That's the nature of mining. It's high risk, but, and nothing goes to plan. But once things have sorted out, and I think they've had enough time, they were capitalised, I think, back in July, May, June, July. 0.04 pence. So they're capitalised. I think there's probably enough to keep going for a short period of time. And obviously now, if they're in production, they're going to get income from that as well. That's even better. So hopefully then, if they can start dropping some news, sort of breaking a hold above sort of 0.06 pence, that's going to bring us up to 0.0665, up to 0.075, and possibly even higher. So, there is a gap fill there, interestingly, at 0.074. So perhaps that's where we're going to go from where we are at the moment. So that's almost a banger, isn't it, for iron? So another one to put on your watch list. ORCP is my next round. This one's had a tremendous week as well. The small cap market's on fire at the moment, and this is what I covered off down here, didn't I? And absolutely spot on. I've got the target there, 0.034 to 0.0394. I think that's where it's going to be heading into next week. I think we're going to do that. But then for me, once we've done that, probably get a bit of sellers there. Hopefully the bulls can keep in control. And then my next target there would be this red box zone here at 0.0758 up to 0.0930. So that is ORCP. ZPHR is my next one. Another one that's completely under the radar at the moment. This one, again, it's been capitalised. There's supposed to be lots of news due, positive news due. That's what the CEO said. So I'm going to take his word for it. I think we're going to have lots of positive news over the Q4. So that starts next week. And, we're in a blue box reversal zone. So that's a really good sign. That's a great entry. For me personally, that's where I'd like to enter, is a blue box reversal zone, or just slightly above, if depends on the share. But where do I think that's heading? Well, first off, we've got the gap fill at 3.6. And then from there, well, I think we're due another wave up. I think we can break and hold above sort of 0.58. I think that's going to bring us up to this red box zone here at 6.84 up to 8.06 pence. So that is, it's bag and a half, isn't it? So worth doing some research, seeing what's going on there. GSCU is my next one, and I've covered this one off. I'm quite excited about this one. It's outside the blue box reversal zone, but I think it's kind of broken that downtrend. And for me, we've only had sort of one wave there. I'm expecting another one. Where do I think that's heading? Breaking a hold above 5.2. That's going to bring us up to 6.1, up to 7.3, and possibly up to 8.8. Might go higher, but why do I like it so much? Well, because the drilling's already started. If you have a look on their X page, they've got pictures, there's a video, I think it was, of the drill rolling, which is great. So we're going to be getting some results fairly soon. I think it took about 6 to 8 weeks for the first set of results to come through, if you look at their history back from February. So that's a really good sign. But, for me, if I just go to silver, this is absolutely brilliant. It's a perfect storm. Surely. I had that blue box there from ages ago from my red box entry, which was correct. I probably have to flip to the weekly. But, we're coming up to this target here, this previous high set back from April 2011. So, that's a long time, 14 years. And if we break and hold above that sort of 48 level, which I don't see how we're not going to break that. This is absolutely flying. For a long time, silver should have been flying years ago, but it hasn't. And where do I see that heading? Well, once we break that, and I'm going to say once we break it, because I think we're going to break that. I'm confident we're going to break that next week. Where we're going to head? We're going to head into this red box end here at 61, up to 71, and even 91. But I'd probably go to $100, maybe more than that. It's flying. Silver, and it's extremely spiky silver. When it goes, it really goes. Look at it from 1980, from $4 all the way to 50. So 10 bagged, didn't it? So why not? Why can't we see that again? And that's the way I see it. So, but in terms of GSCU, they've got grades of 350 grams a ton, I think it was. So that should be a perfect storm there, and I'm really excited about that one. Pop on your watch list and do your own research. Defense Holdings is my next one, and this one absolutely, I can't just. Yeah, we call that spot on, didn't we? We said we gave the blue box reversal zone down here. Said we were going to go to. I thought 2.41 was going to be roughly where we'd be headed. We dropped that down, and then I gave that red box there, and we hit it last week, didn't we? Yeah, can't get any better than that, can you? So where do I think that's headed? Well, people are going to say it's going to the moon, blah blah blah. But for me personally, what I want to see now is, and it's not going to please people, but I just want to see a bit more, sort of sideways action, something like that. I think it needs to, do something like that, and then hopefully then we can go for another shot at the upside. But I think you're going to see sort of sideways action over the next few weeks with a ALRT, probably sort of, for the next few weeks, I think we'll see a bit of sideways action. Supposedly, there's reading between the lines, and I am reading between the lines. They're probably expecting some sort of contract towards the end of the year, probably Q1 next year. So, I think we might see a bit of sideways action for that. It could go higher again, but from my charted perspective, that's how I think it's going to play out. But great news for the market and for holders. Well done. DH is my next one, and just get that one. Mendell Helium cut it off last week. It's had a bit of a good week, but it still hasn't broken out of that range. So we need to break and hold above 4. And I think, we're going to see probably 10.2 up to 12.7. See how we get on with that one. But, it's, as far as I know, that's going to be RTOing back onto AIM next week. And then, if you have a look at their webpage on their X Twitter feed, the X feed, not Twitter, they're flowing helium. They're flowing helium. As far as I know, that's probably the first one to be flowing. Well, not flowing helium, but the first one to be selling helium. So that's going to be very exciting. It's like 3-4 million market cap. It's peanuts. So there's potential multi-bagger. It could go higher than what I'm suggesting there. There's so little traded data. It's hard to sort of take an accurate guess. But, it has been based for such a long time. All these people in here, they're all around 3-4 pence. They're going to be holding on for a bagger at least. So, you're talking 8 at least, I would have thought. At most, probably. By the way, that, I think a 20 grand buy somebody did the other day, and it spiked it up nearly 50%. So, that thing's going to fly when it goes. But that's my opinion. Anyway, we move on. NFX is my next one, and just get that one up here. And this one here is, let's have a look. Where do I think that's headed? Well, this one's a bit of a difficult one. I'll just get rid of my line there. Don't know what that's doing there still. But, I think, breaking a hold above sort of 0.18, I think you're going to be into this red box zone up here. And I've extended it. For a reason. I'm not going to go into the reason. But I think if you're breaking a hold above sort of 0.18 level, and close above that, I think you're going to be seeing, well, it should go at least to 0.261 up to 0.313. But I think most probably it's going to go to the top of that box at 0.38 pence. So that's where I see it going. So, another one to do your research, but, there's no guarantees. Of course, there's no guarantees. But that's where I fancy that one to go in the short term. So as long as you can break and hold above that key level. So there you go, NFX. CDL is my next one. And just get that one up. Cloudbreak. Where do I see that one going? Well, this one here, I think that, I think this could be going to this red box zone up here. Yeah, I don't know anything about this stock. I haven't researched it for a long while. I But, I think you're breaking a hold above this 1.12 level. It should see us up to 1.77. And if you can break it hold above that, I think this 1.9 up to 2.38. So it's a potential bagger, isn't it? CD out, worth doing some research. Next one we're going to do is ARC, and just get that one up. I haven't covered this one up for ages. Goodness me. I remember trading this one a few years ago, probably up 5 years ago. But yeah, that's what we had that red box reversal zone down here at 0.2, which is correct yet again. Breaking a hold up of 0.55, that's going to bring us up to this red box zone up here at 0.625 up to 0.735, possibly even 0.875 pence. So that is Arkle Resources. There we go. Mirri is my next one. And there's a lot of talk about Mirriad. I like Mirriad. I think the technology is absolutely fantastic. And the future of advertising, well, that should have been, should have been plain sailing, one would have thought. But it clearly wasn't. But where do I see that heading? Well, it's obviously made a bit of a lower low, but it's on a rising MACD. Now that's pretty good. As setups go, that's pretty good. Where do I see that head? Well, I'd want to see it. Obviously, it needs to break at a whole 0.02. Sorry, it should bring us up to about 0.25. Up to 0.028 and possibly even higher than that. But, it is advertising season now. They really need to be getting these orders in for the Q4. It is a bit of a buy replace. Only £1 million market cap. If they get a big order in, then, it could go to the moon. There's a massive gap fill up there somewhere, but, look at that. There's a gap fill up there, but we won't talk about that because I think it's going to struggle to do that. But hopefully they can drop some good news. We can see us attacking that red box zone there. Mila is my last one for today, and just get that one up. And another one that we've called really well. We gave that blue box down here at 0.42, which was spot on again. And where do I see that heading? Well, we've got an active target there. We're going to see us trading up to 1.48 to 1.78. I should have extended that box because but I didn't. I forgot to do my calculations. We could probably see that attacking towards 2p area. So Mila Resources absolutely flying. All the resource stocks are flying, and long may that continue. There you go. Have a great weekend, everybody. Back again tomorrow. I shall cover some more off. Thank you very much.